So we're here at the Aloisio Silva BJJ headquarters in Lawndale, California with Professor Joao Silva. Professor, thank you for allowing us in your academy so we could document how your team prepares for the SJJIF World Tournament. The first question that I have is, being that your team has been noted to be a very competitive group, what are your views on competitions for kids and adults?
I think competing is very important, it creates, a motivation, it gives them a goal, a lot of people, try to talk about self-defense or jiu-jitsu, more towards the street. I think, the aspect of jiu-jitsu being a form of self-defense is never going to lose that. That's a good thing, empowers everybody, they know they can do, but in any day you don't want to create, street fighters. You want to create competitors. You want to create, guys that, have a mission, jiu-jitsu, they teach them to become good professors or just good civilians. So putting people in tournaments, you create that. Why? Because at the moment a person has to, challenge themselves, go out there, try to compete, they face their own fears. They have to put on the line, and that's very important. So when you have a person, it doesn't matter the age, we ask the kids and adults, for me it's it doesn't matter, I have the little kid that was bullied in school, I don't want to train that kid to fight against the other kid. That's not my mission. My mission is to empower the kid, make that kid stronger to know he doesn't need that. And at that moment, that he wins a tournament, that he goes in a competition, and he's able to try to fight harder. And the academy is great, people will learn over here. But the truth is, it becomes, the friendship. You make a family. You start training with your partners, and you know the game. When you go to the tournament, that's like, the challenge. You don't know the person. You know what I mean? Maybe you've seen them before. You're even a little scared of them, and you go in there and you challenge yourself. So that is what I think is important. To create a competition. And I think competing, like I said, you challenge yourself. You create, growth, not just for jiu-jitsu itself, but for life.
Thank you. What are some of the areas that you are focusing on during your classes?
Right now, really, is the end of the year. The most prestigious or most important tournament is coming up, the SJJIF Worlds. So, I think it's resume of the year. We went to the All Americas, all down Arizona, and so forth, and we've been learning throughout the year, challenging and progressing, fixing the mistakes, people that, like I said, that got nervous in the first one and getting that confidence out. People that competed last year Worlds and wasn't able to, succeed it. This year they're coming back stronger. So that's what we were going for, so now it's just, fixing the little mistakes, make sure the game is tied, everybody's mentally prepared to go over there and do a good job.
In terms of ranking, how have you guys ranked in previous SJJIF tournaments?
We've been, SJJIF Worlds is the SJJIF Federation itself, it has the mission that, we all support, and, me, myself, I'm part of SJJIF, and we believe in the mission, we believe that SJJIF have a great mission, taking jiu-jitsu to the Olympics, it's, a great thing. Why? Because you're giving the opportunity for the young people to succeed. Talking about sponsorship, just, personal goals, I think for anybody, me myself, I started 3 years old in jiu-jitsu, I went, through a lot of tournaments, in the tournaments, jiu-jitsu, to this day, you have a lot of competitions, there's tournaments everywhere in the world. And every time you go, it's different rules, one tournament has one rule, the other tournament has another rule, and that's not good, and you have a lot of private organizations, that they're doing good jobs, but I don't think they necessarily help in the sport. SJJIF is a non-profit organization that's really pushing, the jiu-jitsu to be Olympic, to have, united, get other people to work with them and make it bigger. And that's why we support. we support 100%. So I think we've been having a great results. You know, why? Because, you know, like we push our students to go. You know, we make sure, look, you know, it's a successful tournament, it's a good tournament, it's a good competition, it's a fair competition. You know, I think for us, we've always been big in competition. We're competing in like many other tournaments, like I said before. And the thing is, we would go to a tournament, and you know, like a tournament that the referee did the decision. You know, like in case of a draw. So the biggest team normally takes. You know, or you know, like just the brackets. You know, poorly done. You know, like in many other things. You know, so when you go to the NABJF, SJJIF World, you know, tournaments, you see that there is a, you know, like how can I say, like a fairness. You know, like not having, you know, like a advantage. You know what I mean? Like just being straight points. That makes it easier in everybody's life. You know, like people that are watching, the competitor, the referees. You know, for the people that are, you know, like there, it gives the confidence that they, as long as they're secure, it's gonna be a fair point. It's not like advantage that you don't really know. So I think that, you know, is a big key. Sudden death, you know, I think is golden. You know, you take that, you know, referee decision and really give it to the competitor to make his last point and make his statement. So, you know, I think that's where, you know, for us was where I push it and, you know what I mean, make it happen. So I think for our team, we've been very successful. I think our students, they feel, you know, good to be competing in this event. So, you know, like we'll be doing good.
Okay, it was a pleasure talking to you, and good luck to you and your group at the SJJIF World Tournament.
Thank you very much.